Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Navigating Convocast. Today, I have with me Avir Revankar, who is a techno functional architect. Basically, he works in the fields of technology, innovation, and that, of course, includes AI. That's why you're here because I want to know more about AI, what it is,
Hello.
and how it is used these days in chatbots like ChatGPT so that we can all be aware and learn how to navigate through these new technologies that are coming up. So, first of all, how are you? How is everything going?
All good. Cold morning in Pune.
Yeah, it is cold.
Yeah.
And I was actually very excited to do this. And so I decided, like, okay, I need to sleep at 10 p.m. because I want to wake up very early. But then I started to watch a series that I'm watching. And then by the time the season ended, it was 1:30 p.m. So I need to feel good about this podcast now. So you need to give me as detailed answers and answers that I can clip and post on Reels. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, I hope you do so. But, anyways, we know each other for like 4 or 5 years now, but we never have sat down and talked like this.
Yes.
And I think one benefit I'm having of this podcast is I know a lot of people and we never talk about what they are interested in when we meet. But now through this podcast, we talk so much that it's like a hack for me, a small, like, building relationship hack for me.
Nice.
So, all right. Let me know just a bit about AI. Like, what is artificial intelligence exactly?
In this current landscape, artificial intelligence has become a gimmick, right? To be very frank, the actual real artificial intelligence is utilizing humans' knowledge, right? Training it in a certain way that a machine can reproduce that knowledge, right? So all it depends upon the data that we have gathered, the quality of data that we have gathered. If my data quality is good, my responses will be good, right? And if my data quality is not bad, my responses would be not bad. So it's basically a rule engine to call off with some advanced functionalities, right? Which helps user feel like a human is talking with me or a colleague is
Mm.
talking with me. When you see an example of ChatGPT, right? Just to come or just to take you down the way, AI journey started in 1957, right? With the first AI algorithm or first machine learning algorithm that was written was Turing algorithm, which was used during the wars. And since then, there are multiple algorithms which we have been using for our daily lives, right? Since 1957, but nobody called it artificial intelligence. Nobody gimmicked it so much. It was just a normal utility that's helping humans, right? Right now, during COVID, everyone got hands on to this online world. Everyone tried working online, experimenting online, ordering food online, right? Ordering all the home essentials online. So they also got a knockoff a product called a ChatGPT, right?
Mhm.
Which is very similar to that of Google search engine, right? But works on an advanced stage.
Mm. Yeah.
What Google search engine does is it matches your keywords, right? And gives you the necessary search results, right? What ChatGPT is doing is matching the sentiments of what you have exactly said and giving you the exact same response in nature. Like, which is why you don't have to scroll to multiple websites and see how, okay, this is relevant for me. You get a single relevant answer at your case. So that is ease of human activity, which is done by a computing machine, which is why it's called as artificial intelligence.
Mhm. So I read that artificial intelligence, the way we use in our conversation, is something like a technology, but it's more than that. It's like a field of science that focuses on building these machines or computers that can reason or talk like humans. So is that something that resonates with you?
Not exactly, to be very frank, considering I'm working in this field for around past 8.5 years. Uh, it's not science, right? It's maths.
Hmm.
If I have, say, a huge volume of data, 1 TB of data, the analytics that I can derive through it is more.
Hmm.
If versus I have a small Excel sheet with 10 rows and 10 columns filled, right? So there is no science right? But there is mathematics and engineering. So how to
Mhm.
use that particular data in the correct manner so that the output that is derived is more correct and more accurate, right?
Yeah.
When you say science, it seems to me like an innovation or an experiment or something that is revolutionizing the world, right? In that particular part, yes, it is an good utility, an excellent product, right? But it's not necessary to be called as in science.
Mhm.
Instead, I'll say it's pure data, right? Rule engine about data, a rule engine that humans have written, right? Because they are based upon their experience, right? If I
Yeah.
am a stockbroker, right, I have an experience is like if it's a bull flag, then my stock market will move in a particular manner, right? If it's a barrel flag, my stock market will move in a different manner. So all this 40 years of experience, when noted down into a rule engine backed with the right data set, it's but obviously you will get better insights and better predictability,
Huh.
right? So that's how it's structured. It's fairly simple. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, when I look at the source codes which we have written, it's all 0 and 1. It's all
Huh.
mathematics.
Yeah. Yeah. So, my next question was, and I'm very fascinated by it. You said ChatGPT, it's about prediction, it's about taking data, putting all the formula that we've created so that it can give us the right output. Can you just dive a bit deeper and tell me how are all these apps? I think Midjourney started it first, and now everyone is kind of creating images. We are also seeing AI movies now released because AI is creating very detailed scenes about, and it's also giving dialogues. It's also uh, creating the background and the character. So it's a very fascinating technology. How are all these apps able to do it?
Again, very simple. A huge amount of data sample is available on open internet today, right?
Mhm.
Why ChatGPT was so successful? Because it got access or it got rights to the entire Google search engine that is open source, right? It fetched
Mm,
all the data from Google search engine, it trained its model, and then answers got coming. Now, as technology is advancing, as the hardware for that technology is advancing, uh, IT field came up or innovation came up in such a way that we can also interpret audio, we can also
mm,
interpret images, and we can also interpret videos, right? Which was not a possible thing, say, 10 years down the
yeah.
line. But again, to contradict that, YOLO is a company which does analytics and basically computer vision analytics. So, video analytics, audio analytics, and image analytics. So, how this analytics works? So, we have pictures, thousands of pictures, where we annotate, as in mark. So, in this particular screen, if you see, it's Avir and it's Avnish. I can see a small mic that is placed over here. I can see a curtain behind you and a brick wall behind me, right? With a small set of some sofa aesthetics that is
Yeah.
available. So what humans did, it is they annotated these images. They told that this particular box is a human, right? This particular background brick, it's a
Yeah.
brick wall, right? The curtain behind Avnish is a curtain. So humans annotated crores and say trillion of crores of these images and videos and trained a model which understands if I send a image, then whether it's a human, whether it's a car, whether it's a cat, whether it's a dog, right? So it began to differentiate between humans and animals first. Then it
Huh.
began to differentiate between male and female, right? And in animals, whether it's a cat or a dog, right? And
Huh.
with huge amount of data, the models were accurately able to classify whether it's a human, it's a laptop, it's a mug, it's a animal, if animal, which animal, if bird, which bird, right? So all these activities in the past 10 years were done by some humans and they
Right.
created a data set.
Huh.
Now, based upon this data set, when these data sets were publicly sourced, engineers like us experimented on that data set. So the
Huh.
data collection, which was done by some companies, now was done by multiple individuals. Right. So now you can imagine what is the volume of data that we have, which is
Huh.
annotated, basically labeled. right?
uh,
Just to understand what classifications are there.
uh,
Now that model understands when I type tree, how a tree looks like. When I
uh,
type a coconut tree, how a coconut tree looks like,
sure.
right? Based upon these similar cases, when I type a essay that I want a old man walking with a dog and a stick in his hand through a rough road with beautiful garden and peace at one side and a
Uh,
cemented city and struggle at other side, right?
uh,
So now my model knows how a peaceful garden looks like,
uh,
right? How a old man looks like. When he has a dog walking with him, how it will look like,
uh,
right? How a stick look like. So my model knows entirety into it. It just fragments it correctly,
uh,
positions it correctly, and then sends it out.
uh,
Right now, when I'm talking about video, video is nothing but collection of clips rammed together in such a way that if you play those, it comes up with a motion, right?
yeah,
Animation, if you know, animation in the previous movie generation were made on papers, right? All the
yes.
drawings were made on papers. Like if a leg is like this, right, the next will be like this. So 10,000 drawings of a
Yeah.
particular picture collected together made a video. It's the same process that these models are following, and those are creating images first,
Mm,
collecting them together and making videos,
yeah.
right, and adding audios to it,
Uh,
right? So simplistically to tell you, it's a very complex process in itself. It's not as simple as we are talking it.
yeah.
But again, thought process wise or workflow wise, these are the things that are happening behind the back, so
Uh,
that it can generate a content, it can
yeah.
generate videos, it can generate audios, right? So this is how the process, because it has n number of data
Yeah.
with it. If you ask them something that is not with them, right, it will
Uh,
not be able to create it.
uh,
So just for example, if I say iprogrammer, right, I want to change iprogrammer's logo, I want to experiment with iprogrammer's logo, it will not give me a unique representation of it.
uh,
What it will be doing is how many related logos are available. It will try to mix
uh,
and match and give me those particular patterns.
yeah.
Nothing unique out of it will come, right? So when it goes to content generation, for say, it has so much textual content that you will feel every content that I'm getting is unique,
Uh,
right? But when it comes to images or videos, the content library is not so expanded,
yeah.
right? Which is why we'll not get something unique at this particular stage. Maybe 5 years
Mm,
down the line, because of
yeah.
the content and because of the variations and permutation combinations increased at that particular level, there is a possibility that it can derive something unique altogether.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah. I
So,
hope this
yeah.
clarifies your question.
And I know that you're simplifying this a bit
Yeah.
because, but it's good to understand how these things are done. So, and even if you're saying that okay, we don't have a lot of image and video data, I understand that it's kind of huge, but compared to text data,
Yes.
it's a bit limited right now. What happens? So, like this is just a follow up question. So, if people start creating a lot with these AI bots, and then does the AI bot also learn from what it has created as well? That also counts in its data. So, I mean, if I create, like you said, the picture like you described, if I create it from ChatGPT or someone, and then a lot of people start doing it instead of actually going out there and clicking a photo or something. So, does that data also go into ChatGPT again?
Yes, but it is in embedded format. So what happens is each and every utility that we are creating, we keep a feedback session to it. Even if you see ChatGPT has a feedback, so thumbs up, thumbs down,
Yeah.
right? For it to understand if whatever the user asked, right, and whatever the response I have given, are they in line or not, right?
Yeah.
So this feedback data is again retrained on the LLM version. So
Yeah.
right now, most of the population is aware from ChatGPT version 3, right, to ChatGPT version 5. right?
uh,
So from 3 to 5, if you see the mistakes that ChatGPT used to do during version 3 were rectified in version 4 and now
yes.
are better rectified in version 5. So why is this? Because all these data collection samples are stored in an encrypted format so that
Uh,
data privacy and all the compliances issues are not occurred. But yes, this data is stored in an encrypted format. It is used for retraining the model because that's the only correct way of how I can retrain a model with
uh,
the help of user feedbacks,
uh,
right? When you say a image that I have created, considering this image which is created is now on open internet, right?
uh,
ChatGPT also stores that image on its database to understand that this was a prompt and this is the image which we have created, right? Now on that image, whichever image I get, it's not necessary that that is the best image that I'll get, right?
uh,
So I'll do some follow up questions and I'll keep on iterating the image,
uh,
and at a point I'll see, yeah, now this is a satisfactory image according to me and I don't think GPT can do more better, I can't waste more time on it,
uh,
so I'll take
uh,
this as a reference and I'll start working. So it has an
uh,
like from first image, your number of prompts, and the last image that it was generated. So
uh,
it keeps that this last image was something that was related or most liked by you,
mm,
right?
yeah,
That's how it learns.
yeah. So can we talk a bit about prompts? Because so like I know it's going to it's a bit complicated, but like as much as you can just simplify the process. What is a prompt? Like when I ask something or when I type in something to chat gpt, what is the process that goes on before it actually gives me a result?
Correct. So a prompt is nothing but a question. We call it a prompt because how good or how likely we are or how describing the question is the descriptive answer we are going to receive, right? Because at the end of so basically my colleague, I call ChatGPT as my colleague, right? So my colleague is a machine. He does
uh,
not have that emotional sense, right, of
uh,
what tone I'm using, right? I can write a text, I don't want to talk to you,
uh,
right? But the way I'm speaking this text, right, or the way my voice modulation is there, I don't want to
uh,
talk to you can be considered in multiple, either
yeah,
I'm
because
angry.
I can read between the lines,
Yeah,
but
you can
chat
read
gpt
between the
can't.
lines, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
the machine can't read between the lines.
yeah,
So how prompt or how defined my question is, the defined answer you receive back from
uh,
ChatGPT or any such AI tool that currently we are using. So what actually happens is behind the background and why this is the case. To be very frank, behind the background, it's a normal search
yeah,
algorithm that is running. So there are multiple types of searches, right? So one is keyword based search, one
uh,
is semantic based search, and recently, due to advancements and such huge amount of data, it is very difficult to search semantic wise, right? So what we did is we divided each text, each audio, each video, each image into format of 0 and 1,
uh,
right? So each pixel that I have in image or each pixel that I have in a video or each character that I'm typing on is now converted into 0 1 0 1 0 1. So it's a hexagonal string that comes or that the computer understands. That particular string is now matched with the database again, which is of zeros and ones.
uh,
Right. So searching numbers is faster than searching characters, right?
uh,
Technically. So it searches the entire database. It finds out that yes, this particular string of zeros and ones is very equivalent to this particular string that I have in my database. So it fetches it up, right? Once all that data is fetched up, we send it to LLM, right?
uh,
So now what is LLM? LLM is large language model, right? It's a concept of NLP, natural language processing, right? But an advanced version of it. At the core of it, the base of it, it's all NLP in it, in its nature. But because we have huge amount of data, now what we do is we understand what was the first word, what is the next word, what is the third word. And based upon these three words, we try to define what is the meaning of the entire sentence. So first three words, then second, third, fourth, fifth.
uh,
This is how we try to understand the semantics and what exactly the person is trying to say. And
uh,
we divide it into a small, what you can say, graphical structure. So first I have 10 characters. Now I'll make five. Now I'll make two. And now this is the
nice.
one character that actually is trying to intent, basically. That
Uh,
this is
uh,
the intent that the user is looking for. And based upon that intent, whatever information we have, we try to find which fits that particular intent, right? We bring it back, we generate it in a user represent, the LLM generates it in a user representable manner. So if I ask for a table, it will generate me a table. If I ask for a description, it will give me a description. If I ask it to summarize, it will summarize it in small sentences, right?
uh,
And you will get the answer to it, right? So however smart the LLMs are, right, the person who is using the LLM needs to be more smarter than
yeah.
it. So if
Yeah.
I ask it correctly, right, the answer that I'm receiving will be more accurate. If I ask generic, the answer that I will be
Mm,
receiving would be more generic,
uh,
right? Because the tools work is to provide me answers,
uh,
right? How detailed I ask it, or how generic I ask it, or how vague I ask it, that's the same
yeah.
type of response I'm going to get.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's we call it the lawyer's bucket, right?
uh,
Usually lawyers do certain things, right?
yeah.
They, what is there in law book, I am taking that part in law book and I am representing it. No between the lines, no thought process, no emotional feelings. If this is the law, then this is the law. That's
Yeah.
how this
uh,
entire thing works.
mm. Quite interesting. And although it's such a fascinating technology, I think, I don't want to undermine it as well, and I don't want to overhype it as well. But just reading about it in the last 2, 3, I think, months, because I'm preparing to do this video, or it's already posted because this video is going after that. But so it, it it does look like it's a very fascinating technology, but it has to like fit in the right bracket of fascination. So
Yes,
I can be fascinated by, okay, I am having so much better service than I was receiving from chatbots from websites, because they forced me to just ask these questions that they are prepared to answer. But now I can ask my own questions. And I think a lot of companies are trying to integrate this AI or LLM models or AI models into their chatbot, so that if I go to a policy website, for example, or if I go to a restaurant recommendation website, I can type in whatever I want, and then the chatbot can still answer to me, whereas
correct.
it wasn't happening previously. And then it also comes to down to the Google search kind of a thing as well, where I'm searching on Google. Now I have to make an extra step before AI. Sorry,
Yeah,
after AI, I'm talking about extra step. Before AI, it wasn't an extra step. But now click on a link, go through 3, 4 articles, and then I have to read these articles and then see which I want to prefer. But now AI is just simplifying that and giving me the
absolutely.
summaries, or like it's searching from whatever data is available and giving me, okay, this is this this is the summary. I make sure that I ask them, whatever you say, give me the source. So I double check the source and see if whatever AI has answered me or ChatGPT has answered me is correct. A lot of times I find that if it's a simple search, it does give a very accurate information. But if it's a bit more deeper search, or it's more a bit like stats oriented, it fumbles a bit. It doesn't actually give me what it is in the article. It gives me a summary, but then when I read the article, realize, okay, this is not the right summary. So I just want to ask you, when it comes to this Google search thing or internet search thing, not just Google search, if I ask ChatGPT for an information and I want facts from it, how accurate do you think is that response? And do should I trust ChatGPT's word for it, or there has to be something more from my end, whether it's again verifying what ChatGPT or what these AI bots have given me, or like how do you answer this question?
So to very simply answer this question, the person who is using ChatGPT should be smart.
Hmm.
right? When I say the person should be smart, it's he should not blindly believe the data that it has
Hmm.
provided. That even if you use any particular applications like this, it says AI can make mistakes,
Hmm.
right? It's directly showcased on our
Yeah.
front screen, but due to our lower expectations from particular models like this, considering the responses which we are getting are already overwhelming, right? So what it does is, again, it's a search mechanism, right? It's not
Yeah.
a research worker. For it also has come up with models like research, right? Deep search, thought search, right? Web search, again. So if we are using the research module, right, the answers that you are getting versus a normal chat gpt module that you are using would be much more better, right, when it comes to the statistics, when it comes to the sources, right? Because it will not just blindly search and give it back. It also put some of his thought process that whether the information that I'm providing is relevant to what my user asked or not,
Hmm.
right? So there is a whole thing called as agentic AI, right? The
Okay.
current buzzword. So what agentic AI does is whatever answer my GPT or LLM provided me, I check if this answer is satisfactory or not,
Hmm.
right? If it's not satisfactory, I try to fetch in more data sources. I try to fetch in more data. Now I try to create an answer. I'll check if it's satisfactory or not. No, again, no. Then I'll again fetch more information. At that time, I'll see like the better it's better than the previous two. Then I'll send it.
Hmm.
Right. So it's a two-way channel. So the first channel what ChatGPT 3 was using was a single-way channel. I am
Okay.
asking for something, it's going, it's searching, and it's coming back with me,
Hmm.
right? Now they have put some reasoning models into it, right? Some research models into it, which does our particular task in a better depth,
Hmm.
right? If you use these models, then yes, you can trust 70 to 80% of its information.
Hmm.
But again, it's not as better as humans think, or it's not better as our thought process is, right?
Hmm.
Because when I am asking, even in terms of AI, when we are asking, you are asking me very different questions, which are not moving in a single channel, right? We first talked about, say, LLM, some of AI, some about imaging, right? And now some about prompts and how to use it, correct? So ChatGPT doesn't have this sense that when I'm talking about AI, I have n number of domains which I have to capture,
Hmm.
right? Because domain wise information also changes.
Yes.
The content that you see on news channel, the content that you see on some app, news app, and the content that you see on a newspaper, all the contents may be structure wise, content wise, length wise, everything is different, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it what ChatGPT or what these AI utilities are doing, it's simplifying and giving us the summaries and giving us the right output, which is why we think, yeah, this is better. But in actual sense, when we are doing a research work or PhD work, it can be a helpful utility for me. It can do some of my research tasks, but some intelligence, some human intelligence is needed when we
Hmm.
are doing that quality or that level of work.
Hmm.
For general tasks like writing an email, summarizing an content, helping with restructuring the content, making it professional, making it unique, right? So for general daily tasks,
Hmm.
ChatGPT you can freely believe, or you can directly use whatever content it is providing because it has been trained on a variety of data, right?
Hmm.
For unique task where I want to write or I want to publish a paper, right? I can take help of it, right? For structuring, for some vocabulary, right? Because we have a limited vocabulary. It's a machine, it has all the vocabulary that this world has.
Yeah.
So for these purposes, we can utilize it, but not directly write the entire research paper using ChatGPT
Hmm.
or similar
Yeah.
to Cloud,
Yeah.
Sonnet, Gemini. So yeah, it can, if we use it as a helping hand or as a helping colleague or a helping partner, it
Hmm.
is the best way to use it.
Hmm.
But if we are entirely depending on the responses that it is
Yeah.
generating, then I guess we are not smart enough.
Hmm. Yeah. Maybe treat it as a intern,
Yeah,
where you know that
starting
okay,
right.
there's potential. They can save a lot of my time, but
Yes,
I can't just give the entire task to them and hope that during my deadline or at the time of my deadline, I
correct.
will get what I want from it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Um, where do you think this is headed? Like, what is the capability? Because we know, like you've talked about this, like there are some limitations, and whether it's image generation or video generation, but where do you think it will go? Like, what is the capability of it? Are we like going to see huge movies just created with one prompt, or do you think that this technology won't go that far, or like the companies won't try to do that?
So you will be able to see huge movies with a single prompt, but that won't be good quality movies, or then that won't catch up the emotional intent that
But
we.
ever, like, will this be ever, or do you think like 10 years down the line, do you think AI will catch up on the emotions thing and whatever, like limitation it has right now? Like, I want to ask you as an opinion. So I'm not asking you as a proper technical person who
Yeah,
knows
yeah.
everything, and just like your opinion based on whatever you have seen. What is the highest that we can reach in the near future with these AI chatbots and AI technology?
See, cloud is the sky
Yeah,
when it comes to technology like this,
yeah,
right? When I'm saying cloud is the sky, there are many, many limitations associated to it. The hardware infrastructure needs to support it, right? Cost is a huge parameter.
yeah,
If you remember, ChatGPT launched their image generation services, after which 15, 16 days after the uh, functionality was launched, Sam Altman actually tweeted that please stop using this because my hardware is crying.
yeah,
My hardware is dying, right? So
yeah,
there is a huge cost associated to the hardware, right? And the biggest limitation for AI currently is hardware, right? Because these activities are currently in the development stage, which is why
yeah,
these are not optimized in that particular level,
yeah,
right? So it can be developed, definitely. It can create a movie, but it can create a very structured movie, not a
mm,
Rajamouli movie,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Right. So the emotion, the punch, these particular parts won't be. It can be available because all these movies are also now openly available. Or if I get access to Netflix, I can train
yeah,
my model on this data. But to train my model on this particular data, the cost associated with it is so high
yeah,
and so risky because I don't know how much users will be using it,
yeah,
right? If the cost of making a movie is for say currently 50 crore 60 crores and versus a cost of making that movie is also on a very similar range, then
yeah,
what's the use of
yeah,
this particular utility, right?
yeah,
Creating utility is one thing, right? But adaptability and using it is another.
mm,
For an example, if ChatGPT was paid, right? ChatGPT is free for much better globe of the continent, right?
yeah,
If it was paid from the first, do you think the adoption would have happened so fast? No,
yeah, no,
right? So now what their business strategy might be is start giving free, very similar to Geo, right? Start
yeah,
giving free and at a cost you charge each and every client,
yeah,
right? So it's all about strategies. It's all about adaptability. Currently, the adaptability is so much. Each LLM is giving a free tire, but
yeah,
it will have a limited space because there is also a business that they are doing. There is a cost that they are
yeah,
paying for all the free usages that we are doing. So it all depends. Like all are interrelated, right? If everything matches and the puzzle is solved, yes, the sky is the
yeah,
limit, but
yeah.
it's a very difficult and complex challenge to do out of it.
Mm, yeah, yeah. So, you are an artist as well. I know that you have worked in plays and you are now a coder as well. These are two, I think, biggest industries AI has affected. Like a lot of artists, and like you said, some artists will look at it positively, saying it will save me a lot of time. Some coders will look at it positively, it will save me a lot of time. Some artists and coders will say, like, it's kind of taking my job. So, as an artist, as a coder, how do you think AI has affected your industry, and how it is used in your industry. How do you use it? And yeah, I think like as genuine as possible you can be. Yeah.
So to be very frank, uh, luckily I am knowledgeable enough to understand how to use this technology,
Yeah.
which is why it has helped me, right? The current what do you call it, the Gen Z generation and the generation coming after it needs to be more street smart, needs to be more hardworking, right? And when we are saying hardworking, they should do smart work with hard work.
Mm,
So it's all about how I know, or how the better I know to utilize these tools, the
mm,
better it is for me,
mm,
right? And when, how will I know how should I utilize these tools? If I have domain expertise of coding, right, then then and only then I can understand whether the
mm,
code that is given by ChatGPT is correct or not.
mm,
We are also using these services to a certain extent, which saves a huge amount of our time. So in our case, we have to write test cases, we have to write API documentations, we have to. There are multiple secondary tasks that a developer has to do in his daily routine.
yeah.
We automate it, or we utilize ChatGPT to do that secondary task, right? Even
Yes.
on Visual Studio, the development platform that we use, IDE basically. Uh, it has integrated ChatGPT, it has integrated GitHub's Copilot. So even if I write 2 to 3 sentences, my auto completion happens,
Mm,
right? So it's not I'm entirely writing the code. I'm writing the main logic, and auto completion helps me with the secondary or the routine standard task that needs to be defined. So the major task for most of the coder is missing semicolon,
mm,
right? If a missing semicolon is automatically added by AI for each and every activity that I'm doing based upon the
mm,
standard, because it's a standard process.
yes.
There are places where need to add it, and there are places where we don't need to add, and it's structured and standard, right? So for all these standard processes, if you use AI, it becomes helpful for you, right?
Mm,
For all the redundant processes where I need to write a test case, where I need to write the API documentation, where I need to write
mm,
user flow documentation, data schema explanation, right? So I use Chat GPT, or I use such AI tools for my task which are redundant,
mm,
which save around 50% of my time.
yeah. Yeah.
But all the intelligent work that we have to do, the core logic, is something that still I like to use my brain. At
Mm,
least my brain will be in use, right?
yeah.
So this is how utilizing it in the right manner
Yeah.
is the correct
So you need
way
to
to.
have this domain knowledge,
Yes.
and like
So the
whoever
feedback.
has that is kind of okay with these technologies because saving them time more than
Correct.
anything. Yeah.
Correct. And it's always have has been a rule of nature that the fittest survives. So when are you fit? When you have the domain knowledge, when you understand the technology it is, when you know what you need to do with the technology, right? And
Mm,
that's where you can call yourself a fit, right? And if you are a fit, then you can survive. Whether
mm,
it may be creative work, whether it may be coding, any particular field, right?
yeah.
AI can't steal my job if I still provide something unique that I
Yeah.
have to provide. Even in terms of content generation, it is said that AI is providing all the content, right? But AI can't provide unique content like Zomato, right? Or
Yeah.
AstroTalk,
Yeah.
right? That unique content needs a human thought process.
Yes.
I was just watching through all the Astro Talk ads recently because I found it very gimmicky. They have
Mm,
found the core challenges which the market has. आपकी
yeah.
शादी नहीं हो रही.
Yeah.
मेरे बंदी छोड़ के गई वो कब आएगी.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this marketing content, which is actually a marketing content, can't be generated by AI,
Yeah.
right? Zomato, it's book. Avir, it's time for biryani. Avir, it's time for pani puri. So this content can't be generated by AI,
Mm,
right? So if you put in value, if you put in your thought process, AI can't replace you.
mm.
And if you are as robotic as AI, then it's but
Yeah. Then
obviously why will anyone care about you?
yeah. Yeah.
So that's the fine line when I'm saying that if I'm worried about AI, I'm not, right?
Mm,
But the knowledge of how to correctly use this particular tool also needs to be spread in that particular manner.
Yeah.
Everybody currently in the hype that AI will do this, AI will do that, but that's not entirely the truth.
Yeah.
AI can help you. It can't do it entirety. Some jobs AI
Yeah.
can do it in entirety. Like as I said, right, my normal routine jobs it can do, but normal routine jobs is not our core strength, or
Yeah.
it's not why I'm employed for it.
Yeah.
Right. So
Uh,
that's how I can
yeah.
say.
And I imagine that almost every technology could be viewed that way. Like I think when internet and browsers came in,
Mm,
I'm sure of it that news companies would have said like this is going to destroy us and don't
correct.
use it and all. But they perhaps didn't realize that this is actually archiving all of your stories. This is going to help your story that you publish for one day, like investigate for 2 3 weeks or months. You publish it and then people throw the newspaper away, but this is
Yeah,
not going to happen. It's going to archive your story and people can visit it anytime. Even 100 years
correct.
later they can go and refer to the story that you have
Absolutely.
done. So if you adapt to that, it could be a lot beneficial for you. And I think the same way was looked at for I think social media as well. Like social media is going to change the mainstream content industry. Like of
Yeah.
course it has changed it, but if you adapt to it, then of course it's not
It's a
completely going
benefit
to
for
be.
you. It's a
Yeah,
benefit
it's
for
going to
you.
be. Yeah. So
Yeah.
both ways I think you look at it, it's quite fascinating. All right, yeah, I think we're done here. Anything I've missed? Do you have anything else to add to this?
No, I guess the only thing I'll so all the viewers who are watching
Yeah.
this, understand and adapt and use this technology to the brightest of what you can use. So every
Yeah.
coin has two sides, right? So this is a
Yeah.
technology, it also has two sides. One is a positive impact that is happening, and second is the negative impact that is happening. The negative impact is even with mobile phones that came in, right? If you see our grandfathers or even my father and my mother, they recall multiple phone numbers,
Yeah.
right? We can't do that.
We can do that. Yeah.
Right, because we are underutilizing ourselves, or we are underutilizing our internal capabilities because of these utilities that we have,
Yeah.
right? So it's good in a certain way, right? But again, it has some negative sides. If I say I
Yeah.
don't have a phone and I have to call my mom, I have to call my dad, I'll be panicked because I don't remember the phone numbers,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So it's on how we use this technology and how we adapt
Mm.
to it, use it to our advantage,
Hmm.
right? Is the right way going forward.
Yeah, and I think this is very important because I think I missed this point. What I have been fighting for the last, I think, 3 4 years is that misinformation is rampant in India and in the world itself, but in India as well. Because I just think that we believe in authority. So if a elder person
Yeah,
comes and tells us something, we believe that why would that person lie? And it was very difficult to tell people you should verify information because it's like expecting them to go and look at 10 different sources and say that okay, I don't know what you're talking about, maybe it's true, maybe it's not, and it takes a lot of work and people are not going to do it. But
yeah,
recently I saw that YouTube has added a feature of AI, like any video you're watching, you can ask anything about that video to that
correct.
AI chatbot. Then we have Meta on our WhatsApp, we have ChatGPT, of course. So I'm encouraging people that if someone sends you something, just go and ask the chatbot and say that, okay, I have received this information. Can you maybe verify it a bit and send me 3 4 sources that
Yes.
it is a correct information? So
Yes.
again, I'm not saying that chatbot will give 100% accurate information, but at least whatever wild claims people do, those
Yes.
will be easier to refute for people who don't have a big understanding of how to search
Correct.
and how to verify information. So that's an advantage people can use to not be fooled by anyone, and
Absolutely.
that's amazing. Like that's the biggest thing I'm taking out from it. Yeah.
Absolutely. So again, that's how you use it for your advantage, right? So
Yeah.
this WhatsApp generation, we have a number of images, we have a number of videos, we have a number of articles that gets published into multiple of
Yeah.
family groups, right? We don't know whether it's true or whether it's not, right? But it gets published. So for
Yeah.
a very recent case, if you see the legendary actor Dharmendra,
Yeah.
half a world, even Wikipedia thought he was dead,
Yeah.
right?
I
But he's
mean,
all alive walking.
yes.
spreading false news or spreading false content has been a downside of these utilities, right?
Yeah.
But verifying it is our smartness.
Mm.
So
Absolutely. Yeah.
absolutely on point. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you enjoyed the conversation as well. And I have learned a lot. This was an amazing conversation. I hope we can do this off the screen as well. Whenever we meet, we don't really talk about all of this. So I think we need to
Absolutely.
separate ourselves from others and go and talk about all of this stuff. So thank you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye. All right. For the viewers, until next time.